contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all three Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
They know the minutia of game time decisions, when to call timeouts, when the kick, go for two, and all that other stuff better than the head coaches, because the head coaches aren't watching 30, 35 games like sports fans are between college football and the NFL. All the head coaches are doing are watching game films. They may be watching 30 game films, but they're not watching game management. So the fan does know.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Mike Trout, will he ask for a trade? And maybe I'm a bit of a Neanderthal for asking this, and people are going to say, listen, he's never leaving. I refuse to accept that we're just not going to get Mike Trout postseason baseball ever again. Because clearly when healthy, he can still do it. But he's also rarely healthy and still kind of expensive. It's complicated.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Course setup, Bethpage, and how soft the greens were, how long it played. It definitely was an advantage for Europe from my mind, and they putted better.
Well, but do you think in a weird way that same setup is what allows the Americans to get back in it today? Because you do see a lot of those big putts made.
Yeah.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
We are live. Game time decisions on SportsGrid with you on a monster Monday night. Kevin Walsh here. We're live from the decisions desk, and we have a lot on our plate. A Monday night football doubleheader is where many of you will be focused. Are either the favorites on upset alert Buffalo on the road, a 3.5-point favorite against the Atlanta Falcons. This game featuring a few key pass catchers absent. No Darnell Mooney, no Ray McCloud on the Atlanta side. That expected, maybe a little surprising here. No Dalton Kincaid for Buffalo. Could be a step-up spot for Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, or perhaps we see a little bit more out of the run game. James Cook, off of his least impactful performance, I would probably say, of the season, a leaky Falcons run defense on the other side. What about Commanders-Bears? Washington laying 5.5 here to Chicago, and this is one of the revenge spots of the season. Now, it's a matter of Chicago actually pulling it off, but I think it is fair to say that the Bears season ended last year at the hands of the Washington Commanders. Off a bye, Chicago on the road, a 4-2 football team ready to become a 5-3 football team, gave up a 52-yard Hail Mary, defensive players waving to the crowd before the play, and the Bears didn't win again until week 18 of the season, finishing 5-12. They return to the scene of the crime off the bye. A gotta-have-it spot for Chicago if they want to make some noise in the NFC. This is going to be another one that we are following and betting and breaking down with you. Best bets will be coming to you tonight from both of these games, not just from myself, but from our crew, as well as Joe Lisi. He'll join me right here on the decisions desk in about 25 minutes at this point. We'll get all of his action here for a doubleheader on a Monday night. We will also keep you posted on the Major League Baseball board. We're live right now in Toronto. Blue Jays must win. They dropped the opening game of this series, what many believed was one of the most advantageous spots in recent postseason memory. Toronto at home, well rested. The Mariners, off of that 15-game slugfest against the Tigers, stole game number 1 after George Springer hit a leadoff home run to give the Blue Jays that early lead. They didn't score again. Well, Seattle jumped all over Toronto, but Blue Jays have pulled back. We currently have a 3-3 game. Trouble, though, brewing once again for the Blue Jays. 2 on, nobody out, and Julio Rodriguez with all 3 RBI in this game. His 3-run homer in the first right now has the chance to do a little bit more damage. This is a live number for Seattle at -164. Total in this game, 11.5. Can the Mariners cash in and take a lead here and then potentially grab themselves a 2-0 series lead? And if you remember just how the format now works, it's ever-changing in the postseason, if they do grab this win, 3 straight games in Seattle, really can't overstress the importance of this one for Toronto. We then get baseball's best, Milwaukee and LA. The Brewers with the best record, the Dodgers believed to be the best team. If you look right now in the World Series market, that Dodger number has come back ever so slightly just because there was a chance they could have actually had themselves home field advantage in the series if they did play Chicago instead of Milwaukee, yet it is still the Dodgers listed right now as World Series favorites. They're favorites here in game number 1 as Blake Snell looks to continue what has been a brilliant postseason. 13 innings of work, 18 strikeouts. Walk issues arose a little bit against Philadelphia, but only allowed 1 hit in that game. He's only allowed 2 runs so far in this postseason. He has been fantastic. He'll look to do that again against Milwaukee. We also just have to acknowledge some of the craziness that this weekend brought us, and the college football world may be bringing us even a little bit more madness than this NFL slate. The craziest bit of news, or perhaps the most shocking bit of news, was in Penn State. In the Big Ten matchup against Northwestern for the second consecutive week, they were a 20-plus point favorite, and for the second consecutive week, they lost as a 20-plus point favorite, becoming the first team in over 30 years to have such a stretch. That compounded, of course, with it being a 3rd straight loss because Penn State dropped that game to Oregon, where you had James Franklin once again not being able to get the job done. You pick your head up right now. This is a Nittany Lions team whose 3 wins are Nevada, FIU, and Villanova. There are some who have said, I can't believe Penn State's firing James Franklin. Good for Penn State. Penn State should not settle for less. Penn State is not some scrappy underdog. Penn State entered this year with top 5 odds to win a national championship. Penn State entered this year ranked number 2 in the AP poll. The loss to Oregon was frustrating. The loss to Oregon was enough to potentially put James Franklin on a hot seat. There's no way with this much talent, a time in and time out, it can be a certainty that James Franklin's group wasn't going to beat a team that was equal to or a little bit better than them. To follow that up with losing at UCLA as a 24.5 point favorite and then losing home against Northwestern as a 22.5 point favorite, it was flatly unacceptable. So now the question becomes, what does the rest of this season look like for Penn State? Well, they don't have a Big Ten win yet. Trips to Iowa, Ohio State, a home game against Indiana, a home game against Nebraska. Are we looking at a Penn State team who's going to win 4 games? 5 games? Bowl eligibility looks like a far cry right now in State College. However, not all hope is lost. Bigger picture for Penn State, we'll explain in a little bit. You also had the Red River rivalry. While you certainly didn't have a number of good games, ranked action, within that noon slate, Bama, Missouri, OU, Texas, the number 6 team in the country against an unranked team, felt like the biggest game, and I think it maybe delivered the biggest result. With respect to Indiana's awesome and monumentous win against Oregon, Texas has saved their season. Texas has given themselves life to potentially crash the college football playoff party. For OU, a loss to Texas shouldn't be the end of your season. And yet with that remaining schedule, it feels like it could be. Books certainly pricing it that way. A lot of movement off of the Red River rivalry. A lot of movement, by the way, in the MVP market. Tonight, Josh Allen in action, the favorite. But for now, if Josh Allen trips up tonight, if the Buffalo Bills trip up and lose a second consecutive game, there are multiple quarterbacks knocking on the door. Patrick Mahomes on Sunday Night Football was absolutely sensational against a banged-up Detroit Lions defense. 4 total touchdowns for Patrick Mahomes. And the total touchdown number for Mahomes, usually we save that for Josh Allen, for Jalen Hurts, right? With all the rushing ability, it's relevant for Pat. He's got 15 total scores. Dude, it's already tying a career high with 4 on the ground. How about the Bake Show? Baker Mayfield wins with a 30-point performance against the Niners. More Niners injuries, my goodness. More Bucs injuries, though. Baker just keeps getting it done. 12 touchdowns, 1 interception. That MVP race could start to heat up a little bit with Josh Allen in action tonight. We're going to break that game down next. Falcons, Bills, Commanders, Bears. Game time decision.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Keep this on me for now, right now. Uh-oh. I was the one telling the people out here, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, if they lost the first 2 football games of the season, would still be in the hunt to make a college football playoff. I talked to Joe Lisi quite a bit during the week, and you know what Joe Lisi's been telling me? Notre Dame just might be the best football team in the country right now, and I believe him. I do. Rolling over teams. The offense is out there right now, and I don't think anybody can stop them.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I can tell you right now, Jamar Chase is getting moved on a lot of teams. And I understand why. I mean, you don't have Joe Burrow coming back this year. It's just not happening. And then Jake Browning has been less than impressive. There's no doubt about that. So Jamar Chase is still an extraordinary talent, and I think buying him low is interesting. Why? Because if you do look, the schedule does get a little bit easier. The defense is still bad. Jake Browning has been productive.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
If you're O'Connell, you have a serious decision to make. Like, what is, again, he's been hurt now in back-to-back years, McCarthy.
Yeah.
You don't know what you have.
100%.
This is a similar situation to what the Niners did with Trey Lance. Like, if the guy can't stay on the field, and again, limited, you have to do what's best for the organization.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Let's start in the Atlantic, where the New York Knicks are minus 250 favorites to win the Atlantic Division. Philadelphia 76ers are plus 490. Boston 8-1. Toronto 13-1. Brooklyn 25-1. And it could be 250,000-1. They're not winning the division.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions. We're live on SportsGrid. It's a Monday night. We do have a doubleheader. We do have baseball live right now. 6-3 lead belongs to the Mariners. Jorge Polanco. This guy just won't cut it out with these clutch base hits, except it's not a base hit. It's a 4-bagger. It's a 3-run home run. The second of this game for the Mariners. Savage did not get the opportunity to get out of the trouble himself. They bring in Louis Varland. Not the first 3-run home run Louis Varland's given up this postseason. I'll tell you that. What's that? An Aaron Judge segment. Oh, you didn't see it coming, baby. You didn't see it coming. Look, let's back off this baseball board for a minute. We got double the meat. Monday Night Football, Falcons 3.5-point favorite. Number looks a little light. Number looks a little light to me. Here's the deal. Sometimes people see a number look a little light, and they go, that's suspicious. I thought this would be 6. Give me the Falcons. A bit bolder when I go, that looks like it should be 6. I take the 3.5 and lay that. I'm on Buffalo minus 3.5. I thought this line would be bigger. The Buffalo Bills have been booked like the best team in football ever since they beat Baltimore. And their Super Bowl numbers and all future numbers reflect that. This is the shortest number we have seen since that win. They've been laying over a touchdown every single time. Now, I know they've been home, and I know that they have been playing the worst teams in the league. The Jets, the Dolphins, oh me, oh my. The Saints. The Pats are good, though, and they lost that game. But are we sure the Falcons aren't closer to the Saints and like the Dolphins than they are to necessarily the Pats? They lost 30-0 to Carolina. It's a Falcons team who last year off a bye lost at home to the Chargers. I think scored 10 points in the game. I understand it was Kirk Cousins, but it's not like there's some Raheem Morris off-bye trend that I need to be on high alert. I'm on more high alert that Buffalo's off a loss in a game where their offense did not show up, and Josh has been very vocal about that. Josh Allen turnovers, it defined his career early season, it felt. He cleaned it up last year. He cleaned it up through the first 3 weeks. He's now been intercepted in each of his last 2 games. Josh is hyper aware of that. The roller coaster that could be Josh Allen, I expect to have a smooth ride here against the Falcons and protect the football, even more so with the Kincaid injury. That doesn't worry me as much. I think this is a game that both James Cook and Josh Allen are active on the ground. I think all their backs are going to be in the mix here. Death by 1,000 cuts. It's how Buffalo operates, and I don't think Atlanta can stop it. And I'm just not trusting this Falcons offense, which is, again, an up-and-down bit of a roller coaster in their own right here, to do enough to hang with Buffalo. This game feels something like 27-20, 27-17 Bills. I'm going to lay the 3.5 here with the road team in game number 1. There is one, actually, or two, excuse me, best bets that will come from our team involving this game, which includes AJ going head-to-head. He's going to take the 3.5 points with the Atlanta Falcons. Chris took Buffalo money line and paired it with the Commanders team total over 22.5. How about a Luke McCaffrey 2.5 reception prop for Sam? But you see me right there at the top. Bears, Bears, Bears. I love the Bears. I think the Chicago Bears are being way undervalued here at this 5.5-point spread. I find these to be even football teams. The Washington Commanders had an excellent win against the Chargers. No doubt. They were also down 10-0 in that game. And they did an excellent job turning it around. But sometimes, a 10-0 deficit shows that maybe there's a bit of underlying issues. This is a team with no Terry McLaurin and an injured but playing Deebo Samuel. They're not 100%. Chicago well rested off of a bye. You look at the Atlanta number, and it looks like the bye is being heavily priced into that number. Green Bay yesterday, like 14.5. It looked like the bye was being well priced into that number. The Bears are off of a bye. Are you telling me that this would be, 7? If Chicago played last week? Ridiculous. I think that this should be more so a field goal number here. I think it's a Bears team that only gets better as this season goes on. Because I feel like Caleb Williams is only going to get better as the season goes on. As you have Ben Johnson able to implement more and more things as the season goes on. A defense that rounds into form as the season goes on. I think Chicago wins this game. Again, I'm taking the 5.5. I'm not really concerned about the money line. But I really believe the Bears win this football game. I think this is a great spot for Chicago. And I think that they put it all on display here. And it's a gotta-have-it spot a little bit for Caleb Williams. I know it's a new coach, it's a new staff, but Caleb was a part of that one last year. And I don't want to say it was his fault, but he was not good in the game. 10 of 24, 131 passing yards against Washington. And he'll probably think to himself, if he just could have been a little bit better in the earlier portions, it could have been a different game. Now, they still should have won it. You cannot give up 50-yard Hail Marys where every single person on the field, other than basically Jaden Daniels and Noah Brown, thought the game was over and have your season collapse. But that's what happened to Chicago, and the season did collapse. It's a new season. It's one that's trending up, and I think they continue that with that 5.5. You do have a primetime producer parlay on a Monday. Here's what the fellas are going to go with. We've got Chris's leg at a Josh Allen anytime touchdown. We got a Bears Commanders alt over 44.5. And Zach Ertz, 30-plus receiving yards. So that kind of gets you involved in all of these games. That's plus 432 from the boys in the back. And that's how they're going to line it up here for Monday Night Football. Props-wise, I think there's an opportunity for me to jump in live because we're going to be here throughout the opening quarter at least, I would think, of Falcons-Bills. And I think there's just going to be some value that develops within both of these football games. Some early leans, though, potentially on Drake London with all of those absences for the Falcons wide receiver core. Let's take a quick break. We'll come right back with you, though, here again. Joe Lisi joins the show in 10 minutes' time. We are live on Game Time Decisions on a Monday night. We'll be right back.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circa Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
You may be surprised, because I am, that the athlete in the world who has become the first billionaire is Cristiano Ronaldo. I did not know that, and I did not have that on my bingo card. So after his contract that he just signed, it means that he's the first athlete to ever earn $1 billion playing sports.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
This one's for you, Tommy Reynolds. I know you're a Rochester Americans guy, but the big team, the Buffalo Sabres, at home against the listless Rangers. Can we get plus 102? We can in overtime. Knockaroo does it again. Buffalo over the Rangers.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
I told you Vladimir Guerrero would hit a home run. He hits a home run on his first pitch. 2-run shot, 2-0 Jays. And I gave you Suarez earlier. I'm telling you, Scott, Contreras last night, Story the other night, bro, every night I've been hitting these home run props. And not the easy Ohtani ones at old plus 190. Right. These are plus 450s, baby.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
We're live on SportsGrid, Game Time Decisions on a Monday night. We've got 6-3 Seattle leading through 5. So if you played any first 5 props, Seattle cashes. I think both teams' totals would cash. Certainly the over comes in as well. Both starters went under their strikeout props. Savage finishes with 4. Logan Gilbert just with 2. Some of the stuff a little weird for Seattle because of all the starters they had to throw in that one against Detroit. If they're able to come out of here and go win-win, they're going to be pretty sizable favorites. I don't know if they're leaving the series props. Let's take a look here. Yeah, they're leaving series props up. Minus 550 on the Mariners right now. Is that really worth it? No, I don't think so. But I don't think you're getting a good number on Toronto at plus 320 either. I think you'd be better served just taking a shot on an in-game today. I don't know how much in-game juice there necessarily is. We're sitting at an 11.5 live total, minus 146. Could there be more runs in this one? Certainly could be. Does Toronto... I mean, Toronto's offense has been pretty quiet overall in this series now when you think about it, right? They've only plated runs in the first 3 innings. You're into this Seattle bullpen much earlier. Is a Blue Jay team total a bit of an option here? You're going to get the bottom of the 9th, right? Unless they've already gone over any listed number. Getting 4.5 at plus 108. It's not terrible. It would be probably how I look at this one right now live, but not necessarily something I am running to. One thing you can do with these live markets is you can, because you're at a plus 110, you can kind of pay for a base runner, leadoff walk. That'll flip to like minus 120 maybe, but that may be worth it. Something I would just, again, kind of keep your eyes on. We're obviously keeping our eyes on it here if you're live betting. Interesting setup, of course, for this Brewers-Dodgers series here. If Milwaukee's going to win it, you imagine they're going to need to win it with offense here. Are the Dodgers hittable, though? Right? For the Dodgers, the season has kind of worked out how they hoped, which is just be healthy for the postseason run. You know, the story of this Dodgers team is Ohtani, but the strength of this Dodgers team is their pitching. And that doesn't even lead with Shohei, right? They could have easily had Shohei start this series. They're not. They're starting Snell and then Yamamoto. I guess they throw Ohtani game number 3. I guess. I don't know, right? It's a team who has Glass now going right now. They've transitioned Sasaki to a closer who they can get multiple innings out of. That was always the danger spot for anyone going up against the Dodgers. The thing for the Brewers, we saw it in the first 2 games that they played against Chicago, right? 16 runs plated. And this is just a general idea that I've been mentioning throughout this postseason, this notion of, pitching wins in the playoffs. Everyone can kind of pitch. Can you go out there and get me 6-7 runs? Can you light up a starter? Milwaukee can, but so can the Dodgers. It's going to be a really fun one to follow. I lean, oh my goodness, that's bad center fielding. I lean Milwaukee in the series just on the value perspective of it all, home field advantage within the series, but I don't find myself involved right now in this game. I did just want to quickly, college football-wise, update a couple of things, okay? Because we're getting to that time of the year, things are starting to take shape, odds are starting to change and whatnot. And I wanted to give perspective on something. Texas upsets Oklahoma. It incredibly, it gets Texas ranked, right, at 21. OU stays at 14. But if you look through the odds right now, there's a big, it's plus 220 for Oklahoma to make the playoff. Texas, a much shorter plus 136. Why? Remaining strength of schedule. That's not some big name bias. Let's not pretend that OU isn't a big name. And it's not a recency bias thing. It's that Texas is only going to be an underdog in one of their remaining games at Georgia. A 9-3 Texas has a shout to get into the playoff. A 10-2 Texas is definitely in the playoff. Definitely. For Oklahoma, they go to South Carolina next week, host Ole Miss, at Tennessee, at Bama, home against Missouri, home against LSU. That's their remaining 6. In this moment, after the South Carolina game, they play 5 straight games against teams ranked 16th or better. That's the reality right now for OU. And that's why the numbers look the way they do. So we're at a point in the college football season where you have a good idea of what these teams are and a good idea what that strength of schedule is and how they can start to navigate these waters. Let's talk to Joe Lisi next and throughout the rest of this night on SportsGrid.